What's up, everybody? It's Cody Steck. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. In this one, we're talking about what's happening in the real estate market here in Northern Utah. We're going to talk about what happened with sales, what happened with days on market, what happened with interest rates. We're going to give you all the information you need to know. If you've been looking at real estate here in Utah and you're looking to buy or sell real estate, this is going to be really good information for you. If you've been tracking these videos month after month, you're going to see a lot of the same data here, but you're actually going to see some things that are going to surprise you with what's happening in the market. I know that there's going to be a lot of people who don't believe me, so we're really going to dive into these numbers and give you the full picture on what to expect if you're looking to buy or looking to sell. And on that note, if you are in that position, make sure to reach out to me. Call, text, or email anytime. I have hundreds of people reach out to me every single month, and I would love to hear from you as well. I've helped hundreds of people relocate here and move from one city into the other here locally. So I'd love to do that for you as well. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into my screen here and take a look at this information. So taking a look at what we have here in March of 2023, we're now just a couple days after this. I'm filming this on Monday, April 3rd. You can see here, if we zoom in a little bit, that we had 3,055 home sales in the month of March. Now this is up substantially, which is great news because in January we got pretty low. We were only at just under 2,000 home sales for that month. If we come back here and compare to this time last year, we saw 4,000 home sales in March. So we're still down about 25% year over year. If we go back even one more month from that, let me just change this data set here so we can get March of 2021. We should be able to see that we had just under 4,000 home sales in March of 2021 as well. So still down about 25% from where it was the last 2 years, but it is good to see that this number has climbed because usually we don't see that much of a drop. You know, back here in January of 2022, we were at 2,800. January of 2021, sorry, I had to pull this up. We should be about that same number, right? I think we're going to be close to that 2,800 mark. Yeah, 2,872. So usually we're down slightly, but not by as much as we saw in this year. So taking a look at the count, 3,056 home sales. This just updated actually. I was at 3,055. So somebody just inputted an additional sale for that month. Now taking a look at the median sales price compared to the median original listing price, this data is really going to be interesting to see. So we had sales price of $479, but we actually saw listing prices at $500. So this number has come down a little bit on where homes are being listed, but is not changing that substantially, right? It's actually pretty steady since December of last year. However, the sales price that we're seeing is fluctuating quite a bit. In January and February, we saw it drop pretty substantially, going from $477 down here to $456. Then it actually started to climb. So you might be thinking, hey, our price is actually starting to climb. What's going on with this? What's happening, right? Well, it's partially a little bit of seasonality, but you also have to keep in mind that this is on a median basis, right? So if you have more homes at a higher price point that are selling, those are going to be homes that actually pull up this median sales price. So when you're looking at this data, you really kind of have to watch what data sets they're looking at, because if you have a lot of really expensive homes get sold and fewer cheaper homes get sold, this is going to push that number up. Whereas if it's the flip, right, maybe you have a lot of cheap homes that get sold and less expensive ones, that's going to pull the data set down. So you have to really take that into account. Looking at this information, I can tell you, as well as just seeing what's happening in the market every single day, we're starting to see more higher priced homes actually start to sell. That's because interest rates have dipped down. There's a lot of buyers out there who are looking at $600, $700, $800,000, maybe even $900 to $1 million plus, and they're waiting for interest rates to come back down. So we've seen interest rates drop just slightly in February and March, and then we saw a big influx of buyers jump back into the market. If you're looking at single family homes, anything under like 450, maybe even 500, you're still running into a lot of multiple offers, and the market is still very competitive at those price points. So that's something you have to be aware of if you're thinking about jumping into this market. The other thing that I want to point out here is this median sales price to original listing price. We're actually seeing this start to climb. We're up here at 96%. If you were shopping in the market back in November, December, January, you were getting a pretty good deal. You were able to negotiate pretty heavily based on where things were at back at that time. We didn't see home prices, listing prices actually start to drop until just the last couple months. And I think this was a big cause of this, but now those listing prices are starting to catch up. So that's one factor that we're now sitting at 96% here. And the other thing is that home prices have actually started to climb, right? We're starting to see home prices sell a little bit quicker, which we'll talk about here in just a second. And we're also starting to see them sell for a little bit more than what they were just a couple months ago on an average basis, right? So if we come back here to November, you could have negotiated on a median priced home 8% off of what that original listing price is. However, in today's market, you're really only going to be able to negotiate about 4% on an average basis, right? Some homes might be selling for full price or maybe even above full price. Other homes are going to be selling for 4% off, 6% off, maybe 8 or 10% off. So it really kind of just depends, but where the market is at in the middle is sitting right here at 96%. Jumping over here to this last column, you can see the median days on market has actually dropped pretty substantially to 35. A lot of this is going to be seasonality, but it's also because there was a lot of buyers who jumped back into the market over the last month and a half due to those interest rates coming down just slightly. Back in the fall of 2022, we actually saw interest rates hit an all-time high, at least in recent times, of about 7%, right? I know if you go back further, they were substantially higher, but at least for recent years, we're sitting at an all-time high number of just over 7%. Now that's come down a little bit. We're about 6.5% on average right now, depending on who you're talking to. So that number has actually come down. We've seen interest rates drop, and therefore we saw more buyers jump into the market, and now days on market has dropped pretty substantially. So that's kind of just the overall picture here. What I want to do now is I'm actually going to pull up some information for each individual county. We're going to look at single family homes. We're going to rule out any of the condos and townhomes because I know not everybody's looking for that type of property. And I want to actually jump into this data and show you what this means for the market. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump in here and take a look at this March 2023 data for Utah County. So this is going to be single family homes in Utah County. We see these numbers actually get exaggerated even a little bit more than we saw. So this number of home sales, this ratio here is about the same. So no real big surprise there. But looking at the average sales price compared to the listing price, we saw some pretty good changes here. Back in October, we were at 604. This climbed slightly and then has started to drop, but could be argued that it's mostly flat, right? If you compare October to March, we're sitting at roughly that same number. However, the sales prices have continued to drop since that time, right? Back in October, we were about 580, then 570, 590, 565, and they've been mostly flat for the last 3 months. And that's why we're starting to see this number climb up. Back in January of this year, you could negotiate roughly 8% off of the listing price. Now, then in February, it was only 94%. Now in March, it was 95%. So I do expect to see this number climb. I think that we'll probably sit somewhere between 95 and 96% at least for the next couple months, unless we see a drastic change in interest rates. I think that there's a good chance interest rates are going to stay roughly where they're at right now. So don't expect any major changes, at least in my opinion, on what's going to happen with that. I think we'll actually probably stay mostly flat through this spring selling season. It's going to feel very much like it does right now for at least the next 3 to 6 months. Days on market here in Utah County is also the same. We're sitting at 34 days on market. Now let's go ahead and jump over here. We're going to come over here and change the county, and we want to look at Salt Lake County. We're going to get rid of Utah County, view results, and taking a look at this information, I think we're going to see pretty much the same thing here, but maybe slightly different. So March sales data, 1,160 home sales. We are up from January where we were looking before, and we are seeing home prices actually increase there as well. So listing prices for the last 3 months have actually been very steady, holding at 599,000, but sales prices have actually climbed. So back here, you were able to negotiate roughly 9% off of that listing price. However, today, or I say today as in March of 2023, you're only negotiating about 5% off of that listing price. And again, days on market is sitting at 32. So we actually see a lot of the same data, regardless of which county or property type we're looking at. A lot of the information is going to be exactly the same. And that's what we're seeing here. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this information. If you're thinking about buying or selling real estate here in Utah, make sure to reach out to me, call, text, or email anytime. I absolutely love hearing from you guys. My name is Cody Steck. I help hundreds of people relocate here, and also a bunch of locals do the exact same thing. I'd love to hear from you as well. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated on the latest videos that we release. We've got a ton of great videos coming out over the next couple months, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.